Hey everybody, Charles from HumbleMechanic.com. Today we're talking SOWO, roles changing in the shop, earning people's trust, and more. This is episode 63 of the Humble Mechanic Podcast. So, like I said, this is episode 63 of the Humble Mechanic Podcast. Funny note, while the little music is playing during the intro, I always hum along to it. It's probably going to make it into an outtake video at some point. So today I'm going to be taking your questions on some pretty cool topics that you have emailed me to charles@humblemechanic.com and put question for Charles in the subject. I also took a few questions off YouTube because I thought they were great questions and I wanted to answer those as well. In addition, I also have a second camera set up right over here for, I don't know, just trying to play around and add some different effects to the show and change it up a little bit, which is always fun. So before I take your questions, a couple of announcements. I was able to move a few things around and I'm actually going to be able to make it to SOWO in Helen, Georgia. A buddy of mine and I are going to be traveling down Saturday morning, so it should be a fun trip down to Georgia. I'll be spending a lot of time hanging out at the Deutsch Auto Parts booth with my good buddy Paul and the boys from Deutsch Auto Parts. So if you're going to be at SOWO, please let me know. I'd love to meet all of you guys. If you see me roaming around or hanging out at the Deutsch Auto Parts booth, just stop by and say hello. I look just like this. Like, exactly like this. I might have a different hat on or no hat, but you get the point. So, super excited about that. I can't wait to go. I loved the show 2 years ago. Didn't get to make it last year, but I'm really excited and should be a great time. So, moving on, there is a change coming to the shop, starting today as a matter of fact. With the influx of new people and the changes that have gone on outside of me personally in the shop, we decided that it would be a good thing to sort of take the role that I'm doing now and make it something a little more official, and I don't know if I would call it a promotion so much as just maybe a shift in title. I'll be coming off the line and functioning much more as a shop foreman or shop supervisor, you know, depending on how you look at it. I don't love the term shop foreman, but whatever. It is what it is, so that should be a pretty cool thing. I'll still be turning wrenches about 60% of the time. The rest of the time is going to be teaching the new guys how to fix cars, you know, guiding them, helping them learn the industry. A lot of what I do here in video, working with more customers, helping some of the technicians that have been there a while to kind of get better and hone their skills, and really work hard to make our entire shop better for both the technicians and the customers as well. So if you're one of my customers, don't worry. I will still, like I said, be turning wrenches the majority of the time. We work by appointment a lot, so I'll do what I got to do to make sure I can still take care of you guys. I'm not going to leave any of you hanging. If that means coming in on a Saturday, I'll be more than happy to do that for you. One other quick announcement. I'm very excited to bring on another sponsor in addition to Deutsch Auto Parts. You guys remember a few weeks ago I did a review of RainEater Wiper blades. Well, they liked the video, they liked the response from the community, they loved the community as well, so congratulations to you guys. So they wanted to come on and sponsor the show. And if you've never heard me talk about sponsorship, I hold that really close. You know, a lot of people really just, they put their website out and whoever wants to give them money, they're going to take as a sponsor. And that's a really different mindset than what I have. I work really hard for you guys to make sure that the show is good, the integrity level's high, I'm honest. Even if I'm wrong, I don't have a problem admitting that. I may not like it, but I'll admit it. And so I get a lot of requests for basically people wanting to put their, you know, banner on the show or me recommend their products, and I turn most of them down because I really appreciate the time you guys take to spend with me and watch the show or comment on Facebook or interact on the blog. And I feel like if it's not a product that I would use and I can recommend, I don't want to waste your time talking about it. So after a pretty intensive screening process, RainEater passed the test, and I'm super excited to bring them on as a sponsor, and I'm going to work them pretty hard to see if I can't score something a little extra for you guys in addition to sponsoring the show. So officially, today's show is sponsored by RainEater Wiper Blades. You know, wiper blades are often an overlooked safety feature of our vehicle. You know, we don't use them every single day, but we're using them in adverse conditions generally, so that makes them even more important. The folks at RainEater are really cool. Their CEO does their social media stuff, which was kind of the thing that put them over the top for me, so that's super awesome. They got some really cool videos where they demo their wiper blades and soak a windshield in mustard and test out how they clean. Not something I was willing to do with my Passat. So I will put links to all of that in the show notes for you guys. Check them out at RainEater.com. And thanks guys for sponsoring the show. All right, let's get into your questions. Charles, great show for VW enthusiasts. Thanks for putting it together. I have a question about the camshaft impulse sensor, part number 07L905163 Charlie, on TSI engine code CCTA specifically. It appears that the O-ring on mine is worn and is leaking some oil out of the cylinder head. It's a very minor leak, but the sensor itself is fine. Can I purchase just the O-ring, or do you know the O-ring size so I can get a universal one from the auto parts store? Thanks, Nick. All right, Nick, awesome question because it brings up a few things that I like to sort of razz VW parts about. And that is that a lot of those things like that you actually can't get separate. So you can buy the sensor for, I don't know, call it $100. I have no idea how much it costs. And it comes with a new seal. But a lot of times they don't separate the two parts. You can't get the sensor without the seal, and you can't get the seal without the sensor. There are ways around that. Because this is such an easy part to R&R or remove and install, I would probably test drive some universal seals. Offhand, I have no idea what size it is, but this is what I would do. I would buy either the universal seal kit or take the seal off and bring it to the parts store and try and match it up. A few things about doing that you really need to be careful of. We need to make sure we're getting the appropriate seal for what we're doing. So we need to get a seal that is safe for engine oil and heat. We wouldn't want a seal that's not safe for that and install it and the seal either deteriorate and cause a massive leak, or even worse, deteriorate and maybe get pulled into the timing cover. That's kind of an oddball situation, but it's something that could definitely happen. We don't want to cause more damage just trying to save $100 or so. The good thing, again, about this part being so easy to install is that you can try 2 or 3 different seals, and if none of them work, you've spent maybe 45 minutes replacing parts and probably $3 worth of seals. And then at that time, it's probably best just to go ahead and get a new sensor. Now remember, on the CCTA, if you're experiencing oil leaks, you really want to look at that breather valve. I did a video that I'll put a link to in the show notes for you about how they fail, because that is generally the catalyst of oil leaks on that engine. So be aware that you don't want to just fix this little leak, not repair the breather valve, and that really be the issue all along. And now we're looking at rear main seal issues or timing cover issues or vacuum pump issues, which are all, semi-common leaks on that one. So now if this were a part underneath the intake manifold or the transmission had to be removed in order to replace it, I would say get the new part. Don't mess with finding the seal, because the problem is you are going to have to install the part and drive the car, run it in order to know whether it fixed it. And we don't want to have to take a transmission or engine or anything crazy apart a second time in order to make an additional repair. So good question, Nick. Give it a shot. It's an easy part, and if that doesn't work, just go ahead and replace the sensor. But again, check that breather valve. Next up, I'm a Toyota technician. I've been at the dealership for a little over 3 years. I have 1 ASE certification for suspension and steering. I feel like some of the other technicians and service advisors don't trust me to do certain work on vehicles. I work on all makes and models, new and used, and I am the only guy in the dealership who isn't afraid to tackle any problem on any car. I also have a degree for automotive technology. I'm hoping to become a master certified Toyota technician by the end of the year. How can I get people in my dealership to trust my work and have faith in me? Awesome, awesome, awesome question. Before we get into the question, we need to understand that you have to kind of play this balance with your fellow technicians, and we'll get to service advisors and service managers in a minute, but you have to play this balance with your other technicians between knowing that they trust you to do work and fix cars right the first time and not make mistakes or not be stupid and be unsafe, and balance that with not caring at all what they think about what you're doing. And it can be a really tough thing to do. So you're always working with these people really close together all the time. And it's really easy to see the guy next to you doing a ton of good work, and you're getting your butt kicked by a really hard diagnostic car. He's made 15 hours today, you've made 3. It's really easy to get in that jealousy trap, or, I'm getting screwed, he's getting all the gravy work kind of mentality. So we have to kind of push that end of it aside. But we also want to know that we can trust our coworkers not only to fix cars right the first time, but not take advantage of our customers, and again, be safe, like I said. So it's like you got to pay attention, but you got to tune out kind of the bull and understand that, you're seeing it from where you're seeing it right this minute. You might be getting your butt kicked right now, and he's getting a bunch of good work, but a week ago you were getting, a ton of timing belts and he was getting his butt kicked. So we need to play both sides of it. From the standpoint of trust and faith in your work and what you do, really nothing comes down to earning that than earning that, and that's doing a good job all the time, doing the best job that you can, working hard to be the best technician in the shop. And I don't mean the technician that turns the most hours necessarily, although a lot of times that does come with it. I mean overall the best technician in the shop. So best attitude, best work ethic, best quality of repairs, best fix right first time score, most customers that'll only come and see you to get their car repaired. That needs to be your end goal. And the hard part is doing a really good job all the time, not fixing cars wrong, having a ton of customers doesn't nearly draw the attention as making a mistake. So we need to understand that all of this does take time. It takes a lot of time. It took me, I would say, a good 2 years before people were like, okay, we can give him a hard car, we can trust him, we know he's gonna do the right thing, we know he's gonna fix it right. And I work at an awesome dealership, a very rare bird as far as dealerships go. So, your average dealership, it might even take more time than that. When it comes to dealing with service advisors and service managers, they know when you have comebacks because they're the ones getting the phone call about it. So it's, again, important to make sure we're fixing cars right. I think the thing that can probably set you apart the fastest is going to be a good attitude. There's so much negativity in the industry from both sides, from customer sides, from management sides, from technician sides, that when you're the positive person, that draws attention fast. It's kind of like the opposite of fixing cars right versus fixing cars wrong. The bad attitudes tend to just be what they are, and the people with really good positive attitudes tend to stand out a little bit more, a little bit faster, because it is different. But you can always just flat out ask, talk to your service manager and say, look, here's how I'm feeling. I got one ASE, I'm working really hard to get Toyota Master certified. This is a goal of mine. I want to be that go-to guy in the shop. I want to make sure that if any car comes in the shop that you guys trust me to fix it. What can I do differently? How can I make that impact? And that at least puts you on the radar of your service manager to let them know, hey, this guy really wants to work hard, really wants to do the right thing. We want to make sure we're giving him all the opportunity we can to be successful and to really stand out. And you can kind of do the same thing with a service advisor as well. Depending on your service advisor, it might actually take a little more work than anybody else, but just give it a shot, man. Again, attitude is probably the fastest way to earn people's trust and make yourself stand out. And as well as admitting when you screw something up. Don't play the blame game about how it's not your fault, or in the words of Homer Simpson, it's everybody else's fault but mine. Own up, man up, whatever, and admit your mistakes when you make them right, do what you got to do, and that goes a long way for people. I know it does for me when someone admits that they screwed up, and I'm usually a lot more willing to help them out and bail them out when they just own up to it rather than them making excuses. But great question, man. Good luck. I really hope you get that Toyota Master certified this year. All right, next up. I had my clutch disc go at 17,000 miles on my 2013 TDI. However, I was able to see the part they took out had holes all around within the friction material, and the other side, the friction material, was separated. I had asked them to replace the DMF as well, so as to not have to come back, but they left the DMF. DMF stands for Dual Mass Flywheel. I just did a video on it. I'll put a link in the show notes. I was not really happy at all. It has been 20,000 miles now, and the clutch is exhibiting similar signs again. Why would the tech not replace the DMF at the time to avoid further issues? Okay, so dual mass flywheel, part of the clutch system. Did a video on how they fail. Again, I'll put a link in the show notes. Why would they not replace it? Well, that's an interesting question because we need to look at several different sides. Let's start by looking at it from a technician standpoint. Whenever I replace a part under warranty, I have to justify its failure. So we can look at a clutch disc that's come apart and go, this is bad. We know, right? The pressure plate generally as well. As far as with the flywheel, I don't know why he wouldn't replace it. If it were me, I would absolutely replace it, and here's why. Let's say I replace the clutch, let's say I replace the pressure plate, and I don't put a flywheel in it. Well, I'm going to put this car entirely back together, transmission back in the car, I'm going to drive it. What if there's a little noise? What if, because the clutch failed, there's friction material back in between the plates of the dual mass flywheel, and now I got some kind of weird rattle or chatter? Now I'm going to have to go back and do that again, and a lot of times you're not going to get paid the second time because you actually did misdiagnose or not fully diagnose the issue. So from a technician standpoint, that's pretty stupid not to just go ahead and put a flywheel in it, especially under warranty. Now, if this was a customer pay job and they didn't want to do the flywheel, that's on the customer for making that decision, not the technician. We also need to look at it from a warranty standpoint or a service management standpoint. That technician may have been told not to put that flywheel in it, by management or warranty. So Volkswagen and all car manufacturers track warranty costs per VIN. And maybe your vehicle had a really high warranty cost on the VIN and they were concerned about getting an audit from the manufacturer. Or maybe that dealership's warranty costs were really high and they didn't want to add a $900 flywheel to, what's already probably a, $900 repair. This one kind of surprises me on why they wouldn't put that dual mass flywheel in. It's just such a overlapping thing. I mean, you take the pressure plate off, you take the clutch off, and the flywheel's right there. So it's like 6 more bolts in order to replace it. And again, you don't know what has happened inside of that dual mass flywheel. It could have been a warranty cost per VIN issue. It could have been a dealership's overall warranty cost issue. It could have been the technician didn't know any better. Maybe it was a new technician that wasn't properly trained and didn't know that he probably should have put a dual mass flywheel in that car. There's a lot of factors that could go into it. And unfortunately, when stuff like this happens, a lot of times the person that suffers the most is the customer, because now, like this guy, he's got an issue with his dual mass flywheel again. I would take it back to that dealership. The good thing about it being under warranty, it's fully documented as to what they did and did not repair or replace. Even if you don't go to the same dealership, all Volkswagen dealerships can access that information. So good luck, man. I hope that they get you straightened out. I hate that maybe they missed the mark, or maybe they didn't. I don't know the full situation, so they may have made the exact correct repair at the time, and now we have similar issues down the road. It's always hard for me to say the technician should have 100% done this when I don't have all the facts. I didn't physically see the vehicle or drive the vehicle or experience the problem. That's just kind of my thoughts on the situation. If there's more information, please email it to me, charles@humblemechanic.com, and I'll see if I can help you unwind it from there. All right, I got one more and I'm gonna wrap it up for today. Charles, I'm thinking about purchasing a GTI from my local dealer and had a few questions. The GTI is a 2011 Autobahn DSG with 61,000 miles, and it is also certified pre-owned. Is there anything I should watch out for on this car? What are my thoughts on purchasing a GTI with this mileage? Thanks in advance, Seth. All right, so no issues with purchasing this GTI at this mileage. 60,000 miles is a good mileage to purchase a certified pre-owned car. You're getting a 2-year, 24,000 mile warranty, which is super cool. And the fact that they went to the trouble to certify it means it's probably not been modified, at least not too much, maybe wheels, maybe radio, but as far as heavy mods go, it shouldn't have that. And that's always one thing I worry about with GTIs, is whether they've been modified or not. Things to look out for on this vehicle. I've done videos on a lot of this stuff, but it's really based on the 2-liter turbo. So we have intake manifold runner failures, we have injector failures, we have water pump leaks, and those are probably the most common things on the GTI and specific to that 2-liter turbo engine. Because they certified it, it should be up on all its maintenance, as well as have 4 matching tires with at least 430 seconds of tread, 50% brakes, checks and balances all around. They should have ran a Carfax on the car. They should have done a full inspection, 800 million points or whatever. They should have went through and checked all the faults to make sure there was no hidden issues. The only thing that I would be sort of concerned about that's going to come into play on a vehicle with 60K that wouldn't be covered under warranty would be carbon buildup issues. And that's not specific to the 2-liter turbo, that's a direct injection issue. The unfortunate part is there's not a dead set way to inspect all the backs of the valves. Even with a bore scope or an inspection camera, it's really tough to get down through the intake runners to get a good picture of what's going on. And that's not a terribly cheap repair. It's not outrageous expensive, but it's not terribly cheap. So carbon buildup would kind of be my biggest thing on purchasing a used car with a 2-liter turbo. I will say the GTIs have less problems than all the rest of the car line, because generally GTI drivers drive them a little bit more spirited, as they say. You might not have an issue there, but it could be a slight concern. It's not the end of the world, it's not a $4,000 repair if it needs to be decarb, but it is something that I might have a little bit of worry about. What you want to make sure you do is look at the certification sheet and make sure that the technician filled it out properly. Make sure that they didn't just pencil whip it and check all the check marks down the line and mark that your GTI is a convertible, or let's say your GTI is a hybrid, or that your GTI has a power sliding door like the Rutan does. So make sure you put your eyes on that certification sheet. I probably need to do a video all about certification and how that works and what we look for on certified cars. I bought my Passat used certified. I think it's a great way to get a really new car at a super discount compared to buying a new car. Whenever someone asks me about buying a used car, I always tell them to take it to the dealership or take it to a Volkswagen specialty shop and have them look it over. I don't get as worried about that on the used certified cars, but it's still not a bad idea. You can definitely ask the dealership to put it up in the air and let you take a look underneath. Even if you have no idea what you're looking at, you know, a smashed up belly pan or a missing belly pan or a smashed, you know, side skirt or something, you'll see and you can address it that way. And it puts you in tune a little bit more with your car right away. So good question, Seth. I'll try and do a whole video about certified cars. Again, I think it's a great way to buy a car. All right, guys, I'm going to wrap it up there. If you have any questions or comments, post it in the comments section below. If you want a question answered on a video like this, email me, charles@humblemechanic.com, and put question for Charles in the subject. Again, if you're going to be at SOWO, let me know. I'd love to meet each and every one of you that are going to be there, and I'm looking forward to having a really good time. Hey, if you like the video, throw it a thumbs up on YouTube. You can also subscribe on YouTube or on the blog at humblemechanic.com. You can follow me on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, the blog, humblemechanic.com, and obviously on YouTube. Hey, Twitter and Instagram is going to be the place for all the SOWO stuff while it's going on, if they have cell phone reception this year, which they did not 2 years ago. So if you don't follow me there, keep an eye on that. Both of them are at Humble Mechanic. All right, guys, thanks for watching, and I will see you next time.